Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive deep into the darkest corners of the natural world to uncover one of its most magical secrets, living light. Seriously, from the bottom of the ocean to the forest floor, some organisms have figured out how to make their own glow. We're going to find out how they do it, and maybe more importantly, why. Okay, let's get into it.
Just for a second, picture this. You're out in a dense forest, late at night. There's no flashlight, no moon, just darkness. But as your eyes start to adjust, you notice something. A faint, kind of eerie green glow coming from the twigs and leaves on the ground. It's the kind of sight that's both a little spooky and just absolutely beautiful.
I mean, it feels like magic, doesn't it? Something straight out of a movie. But behind all that ethereal light, there's some really fascinating, really complex science going on. So, what's the big secret behind nature's built-in nightlight? Well, as it turns out, there isn't just one simple answer.
It turns out nature has a couple of different tricks up its sleeve for creating a glow. You can kind of think of it as the difference between something that reflects light, like say a mirror, versus something that actually creates its own light, like a little campfire. We call these two strategies biofluorescence and bioluminescence.
So first up is biofluorescence. This is what we're calling the borrowed light method. An organism basically soaks up light from an outside source, like the sun or maybe a black light, and then immediately spits it back out as a different color. The key thing to remember here is if you don't have that external light source, you get no glow. Simple as that. And you know what? This trick is way more common than you might think. The discovery of green fluorescent protein, or GFP, in jellyfish actually won a Nobel Prize because it totally changed the game for cell biology. But we also see this in some sharks, the bones of chameleons, and get this, even the fur of a platypus glows under UV light. Some plants like the Venus flytrap even use it to help lure in their next meal.
Okay, now for the inner fire. Bioluminescence. This is a whole different ballgame. With this, the light isn't being borrowed, it's being made from scratch. There's a chemical reaction happening right inside the organism. It's totally self-powered, just like when you snap a glow stick and it suddenly lights up.
Okay, so let's put these two side by side, right? Biofluorescence needs that outside light source to work. It's passive. Bioluminescence, on the other hand, is making its own light. It's got this little chemical cocktail, a molecule called luciferin and an enzyme called luciferase. So think of it this way. It's the difference between a chameleon's bones glowing under a special lamp and a firefly just lighting up its own butt whenever it wants to.
Now, while you see a ton of bioluminescence in the deep sea, it's actually way rarer on land. And one of the most mysterious and honestly coolest groups of things that can do this on land is fungi. And that brings us to the main event, really, one of nature's strangest puzzles.
So how many kinds of these glowing fungi are we even talking about? Well, as of right now, scientists have officially identified 132 different species. And get this, that number has more than doubled in just the last 15 years. It was only 64 not that long ago. It just goes to show you how much we're still finding out.
So where can you find these things? Well, they're pretty much all over the world, but they definitely have a type. They love subtropical forests with a really dense canopy and lots of different plants. This makes places like Japan and parts of South America total hotspots for these little natural nightlights.
Okay, so what's the secret recipe for this fungal light? It's actually incredibly elegant. First, you need your fuel, a molecule called luciferin. Then you add the spark, an enzyme called luciferase, which gets the whole party started. Mix those two with a little bit of oxygen and boom, the reaction kicks off, releasing all its extra energy as that steady, cool green light.
But that leads to the million-dollar question, right? Why? Why on earth would a mushroom, something that can't even move, spend precious energy creating light? Especially since a lot of them glow 24/7, even during the day when you can't see it. It's a huge evolutionary puzzle that scientists are still trying to solve.
This whole glowing thing goes way back. The genetic evidence tells us that the ability to glow probably evolved just one single time, about 160 million years ago, back with the dinosaurs. Since then, most mushroom families have actually lost the trait. The lights went out. The fact that only 5 major groups have kept it means that for them, whatever benefit they're getting must be worth the energy. So what is that point? Well, scientists have a few main ideas. The first one is attraction. The light acts like a bug zapper in reverse, drawing in insects that help spread the mushroom's spores around. The second idea is deterrence. That weird glow might be a warning sign to animals that says, hey, don't eat me, I'm probably poisonous. And the third one is super clever. It might be a defense mechanism that attracts the predators of the things trying to eat the fungus, a call for backup.
Okay, but these are just theories, right? How do you actually prove any of them? Well, for a long time, the insect attraction idea was just a good guess. But then in 2015, some researchers in Brazil put it to the test. They made these sticky, fake mushrooms out of acrylic, and they lit some of them up from the inside with green LEDs. The result? The glowing fakes caught way more beetles, flies, and wasps. It was the first real proof that the light is in fact a lure.
And it's not just insects that are paying attention. Over in Meghalaya, India, a recently discovered glowing fungus grows on dead bamboo. The local people there have known about it for ages and have been using these glowing bamboo sticks as all-natural, biodegradable flashlights to find their way through the forest after dark. How cool is that?
Now, you can bet that this incredible natural tech has not gone unnoticed by scientists. The race is officially on to see if we can borrow this ancient biological trick and actually use it to build a brighter and maybe more sustainable future for ourselves.
And the potential here is, well, it's mind-blowing. I mean, imagine entire cities lit up, not by electric lamps, but by glowing trees lining the streets. Or think about medicine, using these natural markers that are way safer than artificial dyes to watch what's happening inside our own bodies. We could even build tiny biosensors that glow to warn us if there are toxins in our water or air.
And this isn't just some far-off science fiction either. We're already making real progress. Just back in 2020, scientists successfully took the genes for fungal bioluminescence and put them into tobacco plants, making them glow all on their own. Researchers have also figured out how to make wood glow just by letting the right fungi grow in it. So while, yeah, bio-powered streetlights are still just a concept, you can see the building blocks are already falling into place.
Okay, but before we get too carried away planning our glow-in-the-dark cities, we have to hit the brakes for a second. With this kind of power, we have to ask some really tough questions. What happens if these genetically modified glowing plants or fungi get out into the wild? Could they mess up the ecosystem? Could they disrupt the behavior of animals that rely on natural light cycles? These are huge risks we absolutely have to think about.
It's pretty amazing, really. What started as this mysterious, spooky glow in a dark forest has now become the blueprint for some truly futuristic ideas. This journey, from a single glowing mushroom to the possibility of a glowing city, is just such a powerful reminder of all the incredible secrets that are still hidden all around us in nature, just waiting to be understood.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If something as amazing as living light can hide in plain sight on a damp log, what other secrets does nature have up its sleeve? What other unbelievable wonders are out there, just waiting for us to finally turn off our own bright lights and just let our eyes adjust to the dark?